task is to put it back together again, shard by shard, spark by spark. This is called Tunken Olam, fixing the world. And we can do it by following commandments, those godly imperatives like giving, compassion, justice, acts of loving kindness. They are the law of life. The more godly imperatives we take upon ourselves, the more repair we accomplish. By fixing a corner of the world, we mend an aspect of ourselves. 7 p.m., the witching hour in a home with children. In a short period of time, homework must be completed, baths taken, stories told, and dishes cleaned. The inevitable crisis must be solved. Lights must be out, and little lives must surrender to sleep. Precisely in the middle of all this chaos, I receive a phone call. Rabbi, I need your help. I am a victim of the flood that happened a few weeks ago in the neighboring town. I came to your area thinking I was going to meet someone who would give me a place to stay, and he didn't show up. I'm out of money and need some cash so I can spend the night in a hotel. Shari was asking me a question about her math homework. I referred the caller to Jewish Family Services, which is equipped to help with such cases. He called back. They had gone home for the day. From upstairs, my son, Elon, called from the tub. The water was too cold. I told the caller about a police emergency fund. He called back. They did not have such a fund. Elon was now running around naked looking for clean underwear, and Talia wanted to discuss an article she had read in 17 magazine about a date rape. The man on the phone sounded as if he really needed help, but I couldn't be sure. I remembered that a close friend's ex-husband had become mentally ill and was living on the streets. She had said, I hope someone extends him a periodic kindness to ease his way. I finally gave in. I said to my husband that chances are he will use the money for liquor, but then there was the slight possibility that he was legitimately in need. I sent my husband to the parking lot where the man was calling from, with enough money for a night in a hotel. He came home and said there was alcohol on his breath. We had played the odds and lost. Or is it ever possible to lose when we give? I had given because the very act of giving transforms me and a bit of the world. Giving is not my first impulse. Then I become more self-absorbed and the world loses as one more soul retreats from it. Divine sparks remain scattered. After telling this story in a sermon, a congregant told me, I'm an oral surgeon. I get 4 or 5 calls a night. I understand that people are in real pain and that they need me. I am good until the 5th call. I just have no more to give. Now I realize that's the call that God has sent me. I looked at him and understood the true meaning of that night when the man called asking for money for a hotel room. I had been so tired and so depleted that my thoughts had become my prayer and God had heard them. You think that you can't give anymore. God was telling me, here, give anyway. The cure for spiritual depletion is not hibernation. The cure is to be engaged with the world. Reach out to the stranger. Extend your hand to someone whose inner resources are even more depleted than yours. Giving creates wholeness in yourself and the world you touch. Opening your arms to embrace another person leaves you open for the loving embrace in return. If you feel lost, find a friend in need. If you feel poor, give to someone else. If you feel anguish, soothe another's pain. If the world is broken, the mystics say fix it. In this way, you mend your spirit and eventually the world. Okay, the beginning statement today is, my experience with kindness was or is. Okay, bring it to a close. All righty, who would like to share this morning? Michael?
My experience with kindness was one cold winter morning. While driving to work, I was guided to drive through the city rather than around. I decided to pick up a coffee and something sweet. So I pulled to the curb and parked. And as I began to walk toward the bakery, I noticed in a doorway a homeless person in a sleeping bag, curled up in the fetal position. I shivered in the wind, wondered how to help. But I continued, picked up my treats, and as I returned to my car, I saw the answer right in front of me. Kneeling down beside the sleeping bag, as if in a prayer, one of the bakery employees was placing a coffee and a bag of food. He spoke a few words I could not hear and walked away. My heart opened, my eyes teared. I had my answer.
Thank you. Anyone else want to share? A touching subject, obviously, for everyone. A touching topic.
This is Spring. I'd like to share
Go ahead, Spring.
on the same subject of homelessness. I'm sure everybody's aware that most of the homeless have been moved and shoved into like a tiny space if they're still outside here in this area. So the tiny space is about 2 blocks from my house. It's the park on Humboldt, what used to be the junkyard. And I noticed that even though the area around the corner from there that was recently moved, recently evacuated, my husband and I were there just kind of being witness. And I had the opportunity to talk to one of the officers that was doing the job, and I said, this is Chapman Town. You know, these people have come from all over town being moved and whatnot, shuttled, and, you know, just all their belongings, all their meager belongings. I just said, you know, for the amount of money that is being spent, it's over $100,000 a day to move folks, or just to show up. Look what we could do, you know. And I said, my heart goes out to these folks. I've been living here for 40 years. You know, we take food or masks or whatever, you know, as they come to us and as the thing happens. I said, how about, like, this neighborhood is not asking you to move them. Please go do your job somewhere else. You know, I mean, I said that's all I said, and he kind of like, you know, you're taking my time, lady. And I said, I'm from a big city. My dad was a policeman when they could be policemen. You know, keeping the peace. And I just reflect on that, and you know, maybe there's some semblance of kindness you could think about, and how and how you do your job. I know you have to do it, but in how you do it. And I just left it at that. And we came home and made a big canister of coffee and took it to them over the day. Those that were, still there. And I see that the area has grown. So I'm guessing that, I don't know, I like to think that maybe our words help somebody to recognize that there's got to be a spot, even if it's a crowded spot, in our hearts for folks who happen to be without a physical home. And anyway, we left it at that. And
Thank you, Spring. Okay, it's 7:30. Barbara, can I ask you to pray us out today?
She's muted.
Yeah, you're muted, Barbara. Oh. Okay, Terry, how about you praying us out today?
And so we join together with joyful hearts, knowing that there's only one, and that one is in each and every one of us. And as that one lives through us, we express kindness, we express joy and appreciation for our life, for the lives of others. And we move into this day with joyful hearts, knowing that each of us are kind, are considerate, are able to be mirrors of what the world would look like if all people were kind. And I am so grateful for this. And I give thanks. And together we say, and so it is.
So it is.
Amen.
See you all tomorrow, guys. Thank you.
thank you. Let it rain.
Yeah, let it rain. We need that rain. Crystal, leave Sandy and I here, would you?
Yeah, I'll make Sandy host.
Okay, I'll close it out.
Yeah, and then when I leave, it's just, oh, you know what? Let me stop recording here.